Now I'm going to teach you, this is the practical bit I was talking about. I'm going to teach you now the correct way to clear a blocked nose so that you can breathe through it. I'm going to explain it, I'm going to demonstrate it, then I'm going to ask you all to give it a go, whether you've got a blocked nose or not, because the next 24 hours you might get a blocked nose, and you need to know the correct way to clear it. Because guess what? Blowing and blowing is not the correct way. But that's all right, lady, I'll let you... Okay, so the correct way to clear a blocked nose is to breathe in and breathe out, and then to hold your breath. Hold your breath after you breathe out. Now that's unusual. In life, what happens whenever we do hold our breath, we tend to breathe in, hold our breath, jump in the swimming pool or jump in the shower or whatever. Eh? Not with Buteyko. We hold our breath after the out breath. So, in a minute, you're going to breathe in, breathe out, and hold your breath, and then hold your nose to make it easy. Otherwise, it's too difficult. And then, this is the bit that looks a bit silly, you're going to gently nod your head like this. Gently nod your head. Okay? The reason why we nod our head is to bring the blood with the oxygen to the affected area. It helps. Okay? So, at first when you're doing this, it's fairly easy. I want you to push on. This is the one exercise we want you to push on. Hold your breath for as long as you can, and then a couple of seconds. Okay? The longer the better. The one exercise. So you push on. Now it starts to get a bit harder the longer you hold. You're pushing on. Now finally I absolutely have to breathe. Then this is critical. You must keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed. And keep it closed, okay? Recover through your nose. Now, there's no sense in doing this and going, oh, wasn't that funny? Okay, because you'll undo all the good work you've just done, okay? So, let's give it a go. Sitting squarely in your chair, get a hand ready. Breathe in through your nose if you can. Breathe out. Hold your breath and hold your nose. And gently nod your head. Gently nod your head. Now, at first it's easy. I want you to push on. Do it properly. Push on as far as you can. Push on. Push on. But remember, when you absolutely have to breathe, push on for as long as you can, then a couple of seconds, okay? Push on. But when you finally have to breathe, keep your mouth closed. Put your finger over your mouth, keep your mouth closed. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a broken record here. You need to keep your mouth closed, okay? Keep your mouth closed, I should hear the breath. Okay. All right, just with a show of hands, who felt a bit of clearing when they did that, a bit of improvement? Very good. Okay. Can anybody tell me why people get blocked noses? Any idea? You get swelling of the membranes in your nose. Is that what you said? Yep, that can happen. Why does that happen, though, I wonder? They don't blow their nose enough. Some people never have to blow their nose, though. Why do some people have to blow their nose in the first place? That's what I'm saying. Yep, some people grow polyps, which blocks up some of their nostrils. That's true. And often when they have operations to get them cut out, they grow back again. Why do they grow, I wonder? Yeah, sinuses get infected, inflamed. Sinusitis is inflamed sinuses, infection in the sinuses. And that can be caused by a virus, or it can be caused by a reaction to maybe an allergen or chemical or something like that. The membranes swell up. Now, obviously when we get a cold, our body produces more mucus when we get a cold as part of the defence. But of course some people have a blocked nose chronically, don't they, all the time, some people. Well, let me give you a different reason why this happens. One you may not have heard before. Believe it or not, the reason why people get blocked noses is because they've come to breathe too much. And when you breathe too much, what happens is your body ends up with low levels of carbon dioxide. So if you're breathing like this all the time, there's no carbon dioxide in the air, much higher pressure in our body, and the gases leaks. It ends up being low levels of carbon dioxide. Due to the Bohr effect, which we've known about for over 100 years, our body's not getting the right amounts of oxygen. The oxygen sticks in the blood. Now, the human body craves oxygen. But the human body is a fantastic thing. It always tries to self-correct. So you're breathing in a certain way that causes you not to get the right amounts of oxygen, so your body tries to stop you from doing that. And one of the ways it does it is blocking up your nose, which is where you're supposed to be breathing, or growing nasal polyps, okay, to stop you from doing it. But we feel this blockage, and what do? We sniff, or we blow our nose, or we cheat, and we open our mouth, and we breathe through our mouth. There's nothing our body can do about that. Believe it or not, the reason why we get a blocked nose is we've come to breathe too much, and if that's the case, we're probably breathing through our mouth. Now, many years ago, let me tell you a little story. Many years ago, in the 90s, when Buteyko method first came to Australia, one of my colleagues tells a story about a lady that she had. Now, remember, back in the 90s, most people came for asthma. That was mainly it. And then all these people came for asthma, and a lady with a young boy went home, came back the next day, and with the young boy, and signed up to do the course. And she said to my colleague, look, an extraordinary thing happened last night. She said, I've got another young boy at home. He's 10 years of age, and he's got this terrible condition. It's called chronic and severe sleep apnea. Have you heard of it? She said to my colleague. And he said, yes. This poor kid has got this shocking, intense blocked nose, and they've done everything to try and clear it. The poor kid can hardly function. 10 years of age, he's had 2 operations like I described before the age of 10, the poor kid. No success. Then they decided to sterilise the whole place. So they got rid of all the carpets and drapes and everything and try to get everything, get rid of all the dust and the allergens. Still no improvement. Then they had to go to the garden. They paved everything, took all the gardens and plants away. Still no improvement for this poor kid. And then someone came up with the bright idea, of course, that they should shift to a different climate to help this poor kid. So they did. They sold up and they moved. Still no improvement for this kid. And then we knew what she was going to say. It took 2 or 3 goes of doing that exercise, but she got this kid's nose clear. And she was happy and she was sad. She was happy because she finally got this poor kid's nose clear, but she was sad because she worked out that her husband had spent probably $130,000, $140,000 trying to get this kid's nose clear, let alone all the disruption and the trauma and upset. 5 minutes of Buteyko and the kid's nose was clear. But here's the thing. It takes me 5 minutes to teach you the correct way to clear your nose, but it takes 5 days to retrain the way a person's come to breathe over all these years so their body won't keep blocking it up again and again. And it takes 5 or 10 minutes to explain to you about asthma and hay fever, but it takes 5 days to retrain the way a person breathes so their body won't keep giving them those conditions. And it takes, 10 minutes to tell you about snoring and sleep apnea, but it takes 5 days, just 5 days, to totally turn around your snoring and sleep apnea, so you'll never need to use one of these machines for the rest of your life. So, if you happen to be driving around the eastern suburbs of Melbourne over the next couple of weeks, maybe Rowville, Knoxville, Ferntree Gully, even down as far as Frankston, and you're driving along in your car and you happen to notice out of your corner of your eye some bloke on the side's going like this. He's come along to one of these seminars but haven't been able to fix the problem permanently, okay? So I'm going to talk about asthma for a little while. So if you're here for sleep apnea and snoring, never had asthma in your life, hang in there. And if you can follow the asthma story, you'll be able to follow better the sleep apnea story, because the way we've been treating asthmatics in Australia for the last 30 years with our fantastic record, I don't think so, is the way we're going down the same path with people with sleep apnea and snoring. If you can understand one, you'll understand the other. So, asthma. Now, often when we talk about asthma, we focus on these triggers. It's the cat, it's the dust, it's the pollen, it's the perfume or whatever. But all these things are just chemicals that get into our bloodstream, or it's the exercise. They're just things that make you breathe more, because when these chemicals get into your bloodstream, what happens is they put your system under pressure.